Welcome to Laser Reviews. Today I'll be talking about the cult classic Poltergeist from 1982. This video will be about the first Poltergeist film, and my next video will be about the three subsequent movies. And before talking about this horror masterpiece, 1982 was quite a wild year for movies. So many good movies came out that year, it's actually insane to think about. The Thing for once, we have Blade Runner, we have another movie that actually reminded me a bit of Poltergeist, The Entity. Well, so many other movies. Look at the screen now. I'll throw up. Boom, boom, boom. Look how many good movies there are from this year. It was a really good. It was a good year. Friday the 13th Part 3 is a fine film as well. It's good. It's good. But let's talk about Poltergeist. I will not spoil too much, but I think it's difficult to talk about the movie without coming into at least some spoilers. But yes, I'll do my best to avoid spoiling too much. So the plot follows his family with a mom, dad, teenage daughter, a young son, and an even younger daughter. Quite your typical family, in some ways, like typical 80s perfect family dynamic. And honestly, it is a perfect family. They are having a lovely relationship, all of them. They live in this newly established suburban cul-de-sac, probably somewhere in California. The dad works as a real estate agent for the company selling these suburban houses. All of them are similar, all of them are the same. This is truly suburban nightmare. That's the real horror of this movie. A family caught in a cul-de-sac nightmare. No escape from the hell that is suburban America. That is the real takeaway from this movie. And they keep expanding this, and as they keep expanding it, he keeps selling more houses. He's the best seller this real estate agency has. This housing development agency, I guess they're not just real estate agents if they're also buying the land and developing it. He makes up almost 50% of all their sales, it's stated at some point in the movie. So he's really the best agent, and he has a lot of charm. He is a really charming guy. He's a really funny guy as well. You have a scene, like the most 80s scene, where him and his wife are in bed. She is sitting there doing something, and the TV is on, and he's sitting there reading this Ronald Reagan book, The Man, the President, I think it's what it's called. This is the 80s. It's the 80s. And he starts doing push-ups in bed while making fun of, like also some self-deprecating humor. And, it's a very loving relationship. The son comes in, is afraid. He puts the son on his back, and piggyback rides him back into bed. It's a really lovely movie because what happens here is that it's a very functioning family, and then there's an earthquake, and then hell starts breaking loose. At first, it's small signs like cutlery bending all of a sudden, or chairs moving, but already a few, like the same day, it's not just chairs moving. They find a spot in the house where if they put a person there or a chair there, they will be dragged towards the other end of the wall. Actually, there's a scene I forgot to say. One of the most famous scenes is during the time of the earthquake. They're all sleeping in the same bed, and the TV is on because, of course, they don't turn the TV off. And when the TV is done broadcasting its last program, which seems to be some very patriotic stuff from Washington, D.C., showing patriotic monuments, it starts flickering. Snow, what do we call it? Like movie snow, whatever it's called. Like when there's no signal in those old TVs. The daughter starts moving up to the TV and starts talking to something you can't see, and this ghastly arm emerges. It's a very famous scene. I think a lot of the posters, a lot of the movie covers are just taking that scene and, well, using it. This little girl in front of this flickering TV. I should say that, of course, these effects are a bit, they're from 82, so they look drawn on. They're not exactly realistic. They might break some of your immersion. Wasn't detrimental to my experience, but I can see why they might be to yours. What then happens is that this tree starts attacking the boy, and while the boy is being attacked, the girl is being dragged into her bedroom closet and is then trapped in an alternate dimension, or the realm of the dead, maybe? Who knows? And the rest of the film is just the family trying to get her back. And that is also really explains why the family stays in the house. A lot of movies about hauntings have the problem of, why do the family stay in the house? Why don't they just move? This movie doesn't have that problem because, of course, the family can't move without their youngest daughter. Makes perfect sense. And a lot of the family members react to this in different ways. One problem I do have with the movie is that the oldest daughter is never really given anything to do. She might as well not be in the movie. The movie never dwells on her character. She never really gets to develop or act in a meaningful way, so they might as well just have removed her from the movie. She's really not necessary, sadly. And that is Yeah, that is a problem. I mean, everyone else is given something to do, and that's what I like. They are all reacting to the situation differently. It does fast forward a few days or weeks. I don't know exactly how long it's been going on, how much time has passed. They have locked up the door of the daughter's bedroom and are living downstairs in the living room. And yeah, they're all reacting to it in different ways, dealing with it in different ways. The mom just tries to be the best mom for her daughter, still trying to comfort her because even though she's trapped somewhere in the house, they can still communicate with her through the TV, actually. That's how they especially communicate. For some reason, that connects the two dimensions, the two worlds. The dad just becomes more reclusive. He starts just looking more worn out, basically. He tries to keep it up. He tries to hold together. While they're trying to of course, get their daughter back, they get the help of some paranormal investigators. These are, of course, experts, but actually it turns out they have never seen anything like what's going on in this house because they open the door to the daughter's bedroom like, well, one of those, oh yes, once I filmed this thing moves 1 meter in 6 hours, and you could of course only see it if you sped up the video. Like, and the dad is just and then they open the door to the daughter's bedroom, and it's just things are flying around. It's insane. Like these small dolls are flying next to the face and starts moving, and it's really cool scene. It cuts to the lady paranormal expert just shaking like crazy, and they start setting up all the equipment, all the cameras, talking about if it's a paranormal, if it is a poltergeist, if it's a haunting, what is going on, how to get the daughter back. That night, one of them starts seeing visions of his steak coming almost alive, of his chicken bone, being the maggots on his chicken bone. He goes to look into the mirror and he starts just tearing his face off, like just really. The face goes off. It's a good scene, but the face goes off in that scene. It goes off.
Eyes, nose, skin, it's coming off.
He's out of the picture, so now they still one of the technicians, an African American guy, this paranormal investigator, and they get this person to come out and clean the house so they can get the daughter back. There are a few other plot points, like how apparently the real estate agency has a tendency to buy cheap land being cemeteries and just building houses there.
After all, it's not ancient tribal burial ground, it's just people.
What an odd thing to say.
That's where we'll end. We'll talk about the plot. I can say that the movie has a very good ending, a very nice, even funny ending, almost a perfect ending. I wonder how the sequel will pick up on that. I hope it's a different family, otherwise I feel really bad for this family. It's overall a very good movie. It has a lot of very effective things. Set up and payoff is really well done in this movie. It's well executed. Like the tree that attacks the boy, even from the very beginning of the film, it's shown that the boy is afraid of this tree, so when it suddenly comes alive, it's a payoff on that fear. There is this clown doll that the son is very afraid of. I am Chewbacca! There's a payoff on that. If you've seen Scream 2, you know what payoff it is. If you haven't, well, enjoy the payoff. It's a good payoff. It has just a lot of very effective scenes. It has some plot holes here and there. At one point, someone is making a mistake just because the person who was prepping the person for the task forgot to say something that actually, when you think about it, would have had no negative effect to say. There was no reason to hide that information. Just say it, and you could have done it perfectly well. There's no reason to hide it. At one point, when the haunting is going on full blast, the dad arrives home just to see the whole house looking like a big techno party. One point they're opening the door, it's the daughter's bedroom, and it looks like suddenly they're in Berghain or something like that.
The gates are open.
It has a lot of good scenes. The effects, the designs, it's really just cool. There are so many monster designs. The ectoplasm in this works so well. It's very, not visceral, but it's very physical. It has a lot of physicality to it. Because, of course, some of it, as I said, is drawn on or whatever, superimposed on it, looking fake. It has some weird things that also, again, being superimposed looks a bit odd. But a lot of it, because it's so physical, because it's stop motion, because it's whatever they use to design this, because it's ectoplasm, because it's someone taking his face off, it's very visceral. It's very, you feel it. And that's why I know that if you do CGI well, you can get something similar, but that's why I really like these practical effects, because you can feel it. They get under your skin, and that's what this movie does. It gets under your skin. And another thing that this movie does so damn well is that it gives you a family you sympathize with. This family is essentially an everyday family. It's not a dysfunctional family. You root for everyone. You more or less like everyone. You don't want any harm come to them. And a lot of these movies that give you a family where the dad is abusive, the mother is submissive in a way that is detrimental to the child, so you have no one to root for, everything is tragic. No, this is a movie about a family when it isn't tragic. And that's why you like them, that's why you want them to succeed. This is something other movies could learn from. We don't need everything to be tragic. Sometimes it's even more tragic when something bad happens to good people. And that's what this movie does. It just has a lot of things that work. It's enjoyable, it's not perfect, but it is good. It has genuinely scary moments. It has genuinely funny moments. It's actually fun. It's a lot of the time. It's not a comedy horror or horror comedy, but it has a lot of fun elements. It has a lot of very good ideas. It's honestly just a well-made movie. Of course, Spielberg is involved. It wasn't made by Spielberg, but he is involved. So it has the Spielberg seal of approval. The script is near perfect. So much of it is just near perfect. Even, I think, actually, because the acting is so good, the characters are so good. Aside from the few plot holes or issues I mentioned, a lot of it works so well that the movie is even better than how much I enjoyed it. Like, it's just, on paper, it's almost a perfect film. So definitely, this is a movie worth watching. This is a movie that's definitely worth watching. It's a movie that you definitely should watch. If you like your ghost horror, if you like it's just a good movie. I forgot to mention. I said I would bring up The Entity. The Entity came out the same year. The Entity is a true story horror movie about a woman being sexually abused by a ghost or someone invisible. And actually, this movie has a scene that's very reminiscent of one of the most scary scenes in The Entity. I don't think I will ever talk about The Entity in another video, so I'll just bring it up here. The Entity is a really good movie. Whether or not you believe any of the supposedly true aspects of it is up to you, but it is a very well done horror movie. And if you like Poltergeist, definitely watch The Entity as well. It is a very good movie. And these two have a lot in common. They came out the same year. I don't think any of them ripped off from the other. Just watch both of them. Watch The Entity, watch Poltergeist. It's old school horror from the early 80s that just, it works well. It's superb. So until next time, until I upload my second part in this Poltergeist franchise, enjoy yourself. Enjoy your time. Watch good stuff, watch bad stuff. Watch whatever pleases you. Take care. Bye.